madam? Am I
I,
audible to,
I have clicked go live. Okay, now you can start. Yes,
am I audible to you, ma'am?
yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Good evening to all. It is said there is nothing that cheers a person than a hearty greeting, a hand clasp, and an honest smile that flashes the joy of meeting. And when at friendly doors you ring, somehow it seems to free you from all life's doubts to hear them say, "Come in, we are glad to see you." Similarly, with this optimistic note, I, Dr. Meenakshi Vasnik, feel the privileged to be here for the Master of Ceremony in the fourth exceptional plenary session to welcome our respected learned delegates, eminent scholars, and distinguished participants who have gathered here from across the country from nook and corners. I welcome each and every one of you on behalf of organizing committee of the brainstorming national level 8-day quality improvement program on national education policy 2020 India's education 4.0 for futuristic growth. Proud to continue it on its fourth day on 14th July 2021. It is a matter of great pride that this program is organized under the auspices of Research Foundation of India under the banner of IQAC of Renuka College, Besa, Nagpur, with other collaborating colleges, Yashoda Girls College of Arts and Commerce, Nagpur, Manohar Rao Kamri Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur, Dayanand Arya Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur, and Women's College of Arts and Commerce, Nagpur. Friends, we all know that a well defined and a futuristic education policy is significant for a country as education leads to economic and social progress. National Education Policy of India 2020 is marching towards achieving such objective by making innovative policies to improve the quality, attractiveness, affordability, and increase the supply by opening up the higher education with strict controls to maintain quality in every higher education institution. With an objective to understand the new avenues of education policy, we are fortunate here today to listen to the eminent speaker, Honorable Dr. Vinayak Shirgurkar sir, in today's very exclusive fourth plenary session. At the very outset, I wish to express my heartfelt thanks to all the participants of all the principals of cluster colleges, Dr. Jyoti Patil Madam, an exceptional administrator and a vibrant learner known for her wisdom and knowledge. Dr. Dhanraj Shetty sir, an eminent personality and a very multitasking person. Dr. Usha Sakure Madam, the lady with a vision to build model education with a mission to inculcate strategic planning and team building with her magnificent leadership qualities. Dr. Shraddha Anil Kumar Madam, an erudite scholar, a very hardworking administrator, and always prompt in her commitments, and Dr. Narendra Dikshit Sir, an ardent academician with a man of substance. I would like to start today's event by welcoming today's eminent speaker of the fourth plenary session, who is the founder president and a chairman board of trustees Association of Indian Colleges, Nagpur, Goa, Honorable Dr. Vinayak Shirgurkar sir, a prodigious personality in recognition of a decade of service mentoring higher education students at institutions across the country, identified among the top higher education institution based on the quality of his wisdom of knowledge, who has led his academic venture to various summits. I heartily welcome you, sir, on this magnificent event. I feel immensely proud to welcome the principal of Yashoda Girls College, Nagpur, Dr. Dhanraj Shetty sir, an erudite scholar and a staunch administrator par excellence. I welcome you, sir, on this magnificent event. It is also my pleasant duty to bid all the learned participants a genial welcome. Now, Let us have a pleasure of listening to the opening remarks. For this, we are highly privileged to have with us an erudite academician and a diligent administrator with us, Dr. Dhanraj Shetty sir. Dr. Dhanraj Shetty is presently working as full-time principal at Yashoda Girls Arts and Commerce College, Nagpur. Sir has a vast teaching experience of 20 years. He has worked as IQAC coordinator 2 times in his mother institution. He has published more than 40 research papers in national, international, UGC listed, CARE listed journals, as well as in seminar proceedings. He has also contributed chapters to the research volumes. He has a minor research project to his credit and one edited book. He has organized many seminars, webinars, conferences, and training programs for teaching and non teaching staff members and also for the students. Total 4 students have been awarded PhD under his supervision, and at present, 2 scholars are pursuing PhD under his able guidance. Sir has been approved as a member of peer team by NAC Bangalore. He is the chief editor of international journal Creative Insight. With due respect, may I now invite Dr. Dhanraj Shetty sir to deliver the introductory address. Over to Dr. Dhanraj Shetty sir.
Thank you, Dr. Meenakshi ma'am. A very delightful evening to all the academicians, intellectuals, teachers, experts, and all the dignitaries who have joined us live in this online 8 days quality development program organized collaboratively under the auspices of Research Foundation of India by the IQACs of Renuka College, Besa, Yashoda Girls Arts and Commerce College, Snehanagar, Nagpur, Manohar Rao Kambi Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur, Dayananda Arya Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur, and Women's College of Arts and Commerce, Nandanvan, Nagpur on National Education Policy 2020. Friends, today is the 4th plenary session on the topic Global Practices in Liberal Arts Education. At the very outset, I would like to welcome eminent speaker for today's session, Honorable Vinayak Shirgurkar sir, Founder, President and Chairman of Board of Trustees, AICP Goa. I also welcome the principals and the IQAC coordinators of the collaborating colleges and all the other members of the organizing committee. Friends, you are all aware of the fact that this 8 days quality improvement program on new education policy has been organized with a view to focus on its various aspects, changes, and recommendations with the challenges of its implementation. Therefore, focusing on the varied aspects of the new education policy, Dr. Devendra Kavde, Deputy Advisor NAC Bengaluru, enlightened us in the inaugural session. The second plenary session was conducted on structural changes in higher education. The third plenary session was on the topic quality parameters of international ranking of universities yesterday. Today, we have a feast of 4th plenary session on the topic global practices in liberal arts education, on which an eminent speaker as well as a renowned personality, Honorable Vinayak Shirgurkar sir, will guide us. Friends, liberal arts education develops and strengthens our brain to think within and across all disciplines. In our continuously evolving 21st century globalized world, the millions of people opt for 5 to 7 career changes in lifetime in an average. In our present educational system, the students are given limited options for education. If the students are having quality, talent, and capability in them, why they should not be given opportunity to opt for liberal courses? Therefore, keeping this broad view in mind with respect to the demand of the new generation in the globalized scenario, the new National Education Policy 2020 has put its emphasis on the multidisciplinary approach of education and also on liberal courses. In this sense, it is very interesting to understand the proposed role and impact of liberal arts education in new education policy 2020. I am very much confident that all the participants will get in-depth knowledge of the global practices in liberal arts education and also its importance in present Indian context from the scholars scholarly guidance of Dr. Vinayak Shirgurkar sir. So, without wasting much time, I conclude my brief introductory remarks here. Thank you very much. Over to Meenakshi ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Your thought-provoking introductory address set a perfect platform for our eminent speaker to deliver the stalwartly presentation in the area of global practices in liberal education. Thank you once again, sir. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to our fourth plenary session. It is my great honor to introduce to an eminent academician and a noted educationist like Honorable Dr. Vinayak Shirgurkar sir, a man of great vision, an iconic figure par excellence. Sir is a founder president and chairman of Board of Trustees, AICP Goa, who has crossed the boundaries of excellence with his great spirit towards his profession. A person of such magnitude will truly inspire us today. Over the years, Sir has gained greater expertise and wider exposure in each of his specialized service areas. His vast academic and administrative experiences of incorporating with various universities in India led visionary ideas to a new era. Sir was a former principal at Srimati Parvati Bai Chogule College of Arts and Science, Margao, Goa from 1985 to 2002. Presently, he is honored as a member governing body Parvati Bai Chogule College of Arts and Science Autonomous Margoa, Goa. He is a chief consultant in the Symbiosis International Deemed University, Bharati Vidyapeeth Deemed University, D.Y. Patil University, Indira Group of Institution, InSearch, Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics, VIT, etc., and is also associated with many other higher education institutions in states like Rajasthan, Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala, Punjab, Goa, etc. Sir has authored 7 textbooks in economics, and recently he has published 2 books on assessment and accreditation by NAC. Sir has attended international conferences at countries like New York and Philadelphia. Sir has been in the advisory committee of Pune University NAC from 2002 to 2010. Under his proficient administration, the Ford Foundation has selected Srimati Parvati Bai Chowgule College of Arts and Science among the top 11 colleges all over India for the implementation of Campus Diversity Initiative for receiving the award of substantial grants from the Ford in the year 1995. Sir has worked as faculty in economics and in various administrative capacities in SP College, Pune. He is a life member of Shikshan Prasarak Mandali, Pune from 1964 to 1985. The wisdom of his knowledge, unceasing hard work, his exceptional vision, and expertise in dealing vast higher education institution made him worth to secure a very prestigious position in the team of NAC. He has visited more than 200 colleges across the country as a member, coordinator, and chairman of NAC peer teams to assess and accredit higher education institutions from 1998 onwards. Sir has been a member of General Council of NAC for 3 years, member editorial board NAC News for 6 years, member of a 6-member team appointed by NAC to prepare the structure and the manual for assessment and accreditation of universities and colleges in the year 2017. Today, we are proud to have such a magnanimous personality as an eminent speaker amongst us. Sir will be delivering his scholarly presentation on the extremely relevant topic global practice in liberal arts education. I warmly and respectfully invite Honorable Dr. Vinayak Shirgurkar sir to enlighten our distinguished participant with his scholarly guidance. Over to Honorable Dr. Vinayak Shirgurkar sir.
Thank you, Meenakshi, and namaskar to everybody attending this online conference. I'm very happy to know that 5 colleges from Nagpur, Renuka College, Yashoda College, Manohar Rao, Kamdi College, Dayanand Arya Kanya College, and Women's College of Arts and Commerce Nagpur have come together for organizing this wonderful educational interactive activity spread over a week. This is a wonderful initiative which exhibits the cooperation and understanding between the principals working in, at one place, which is a very rare thing, and I wish you a greater success in the years to come. My dear friend, Dr. Jyoti Patil has given me a context to design my session. And I would like to remain within the context given to me. To the extent possible, I don't want to cross the boundaries of the context defined by Dr. Jyoti Patil. What is the context? The context is something like this: new education policy, which talks about liberal arts education and education 4.0. These are the main milestones given by her for my journey spread over the next 60 to 70 minutes. Now, in this context, let me tell you why this topic was chosen by me. Because I didn't want to cross the boundaries given to me, and at the same time, I wanted to give some inputs to the faculty and principals who will be actively involved in preparing institutional development plans for their institutions to come up to the expectations defined by the national education policy. Because everybody will have to be very active now. Everybody will have to devote more time. Everybody will have to do a lot of thinking on the lines suggested by the national education policy. The national education policy says that there will be multidisciplinary universities imparting liberal arts education. The document prepared by Dr. Rangan used the words liberal arts education very liberally. But the final document doesn't use these words as liberally as the draft had used. However, in the final document, at section 11.1, the word liberal arts is definitely used. The section 11.1 says the very idea that all branches of creative human endeavor, including mathematics, see the list, including science, vocational subjects, professional subjects, and soft skills, should be considered arts, has distinctly Indian origins. This notion of a knowledge of many arts, or what in modern times is often called the liberal arts, must be brought back to Indian education, as it is exactly the kind of education that will be required for the 21st century. This is included in the document of the national education policy. And therefore, I look at the whole exercise as one which focuses on the spread of liberal education throughout the country in the next 10 to 15 years. The document also talks about multidisciplinary universities. The term multidisciplinary is different from the term interdisciplinary. I shall explain these terms after a few minutes. Then how to reconcile the concept of multidisciplinary universities and interdisciplinary education. That was the dilemma before. But when I started thinking about it, I found that there is no conflict between these two concepts. The universities will become multidisciplinary because large number of disciplines, large number of courses, large number of branches will be introduced by the bigger sized universities at one place to serve the requirements of large number of students. Now, that only indicates that the number of courses available under one roof, number of courses provided by one university will be very large. At the moment, perhaps the number could be 30, 40, but this number will be indefinitely large as per the national education policy. And that is why the concept multidisciplinary is used to describe the nature of the university. But when I say that the university will be multidisciplinary, I focus on the breadth of the academic knowledge. The breadth of the academic knowledge available should be broadened, unlimited to the extent possible, unlimited. That is very important. And therefore, there is no whatsoever conflict between the concept multidisciplinary, because it will give the breadth, and interdisciplinary education will give the depth. So it is important to combine the breadth and depth of the knowledge in chosen area. And therefore, I would say there will be multidisciplinary universities giving interdisciplinary education in the country. This is what the national education policy wants to do. That is my very clear understanding of the document. And the interdisciplinary education is described as the liberal arts education. Concept of education 4, as Dr. Jyoti has pointed out, is very closely interwoven with this idea. Education 4.0 will cater to the needs of Industrial Revolution 4.0. There had been 3 industrial revolutions earlier, and now we are running 4th industrial revolution, and will be preparing our students actually for the climax of the 4th industrial revolution and beginning of the 5th industrial revolution. What's so special about this? Now, in the context of the educational response to the 4th industrial revolution, education is to be recognized to respond to the needs of the industry, which will depend on the use of internet technologies, cross communications, open line courses, video chats, voice calls. And we observe in these days that most of the people are working from home. Not only that, many IT industries, I was told in the USA, sold out their establishments and told their employees to continuously work from home even in the years to come, whether COVID is here or otherwise. And therefore, we find that the new education policy, the national education policy, has to give courses which are interdisciplinary in the setup of a multidisciplinary university. And therefore, I thought of giving some inputs on the concept of liberal education. The second objective, which is there in my mind, is the concept of liberal education is relatively new in India. Not many institutions are running liberal education courses. Of late, IIT Powai has started a liberal education course in sciences and engineering. Savitribai Phule University has started a course in liberal arts and blended sciences. But I have not heard many institutions which have started liberal education, and therefore our faculty and principals may not be aware of the nature of the work that they have to do to spread the message of liberal education throughout 50,000 colleges across the country in the next 10, 15 years. The real challenge is curriculum building. It is a great challenge to write curricula for interdisciplinary courses. It's not an easy task. And the teachers and the principals and the vice chancellors will have to take this challenge. And in this context, I thought of sharing some of the initiatives introduced by countries abroad so that our faculty will get some direction in which they have to work while framing interdisciplinary courses. What kind of precautions, what kind of final output in the form of a curriculum. Curriculum means not only syllabus, curriculum includes syllabus, teaching, learning methodology, evaluation methodology, projects, assignments, learning outcomes, program outcomes, everything. It's a broad concept. So what kind of curriculum needs to be prepared in the years to come? And some guidelines they could, I'm sure, get at the end of my session. Obviously, the work done by some leading institutions across the world is really wonderful, and they have gone far ahead of what we can imagine. But these examples are given to give you some direction, not to frighten you. We cannot reach immediately the stage where they have started working. Some universities in Singapore, in Netherlands, in the USA, in Japan, they have reached quite a high levels in this particular field. And that way we are new. But somewhere we have to make a beginning, and therefore without getting frightened, let us take some direction and start thinking. And the principals and university vice chancellors should start organizing workshops and training programs for faculty continuously in this area, curriculum development required for introducing interdisciplinary courses in a multidisciplinary university. That, unless that is done, the whole exercise may fail. Now, the term multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary is interchangeably used. As I said, the multidisciplinary education, I'm not talking multidisciplinary university. Multidisciplinary education is a general education. That is what we have been doing now. Multidisciplinary education is a general education. That is what we have been doing now, education. Multidisciplinary university, I understand in a different sense. But general education today, where we have specialized economics special, political science special, physics special, chemistry special, there are specializations. Different disciplines are taught in a college, and students select one area and work in that area for graduation at least for 2 years, and for post-graduation at least for 2 years, again for 2 years. As I understand, today we have multidisciplinary education, that is general education. The present system of education is general education. Interdisciplinary education is different from this general education. When we talk about interdisciplinary education, we are talking about integrating knowledge from different disciplines and using a real synthesis of approaches while understanding these disciplines which are interconnected. For instance, we organize outreach programs. We adopt a village. In the village, many institutions survey number of people, names, whatever it is, etc. What happens next? Nothing happens. Now, if we have to conduct this in an interdisciplinary manner, the interdisciplinary education says that you have to have this mind while teaching, learning, evaluating, giving projects, giving assignments, doing evaluation, and so on and so forth. So it is a composite integrated approach. So in this village, adopted village, you can undertake a poverty study. How many people are below poverty line? So what are the social implications of the poverty faced by 40% people living in this village? What are the religious implications? What are the political implications? What is the impact of traditions which perhaps has kept them in a poverty situation? So poverty in a village is to be studied from different angles. So many years back, Dr. Rath and Dr. V.M. Dandekar published a book, Poverty in India, but that book spoke mainly on economic aspects. So that was not an integrated approach. And therefore, interdisciplinary courses will mean integrating knowledge and methods from different disciplines and using a real synthesis of approaches. These words are important now. Integrating knowledge is a key word. Synthesis of approaches is a key word. Now the next term is interdisciplinary. What is interdisciplinary education? Interdisciplinary education is working within one single discipline. Right from beginning, the person spends his whole life in doing interdisciplinary, monodisciplinary. The fourth term is cross-disciplinary. Cross-disciplinary is again a very interesting thing. It can come in interdisciplinary also. Cross-disciplinary education focuses on viewing one discipline from the perspective of another. I gave an example of poverty. Studying poverty from the perspective of sociological principles, religious principles, the customs, a different discipline, perspective is different. So cross-disciplinary is viewing the discipline from the perspective of another discipline. And there is something like a transdisciplinary also. Transdisciplinary is above all disciplines. creating a unity of intellectual frameworks somewhere above, beyond the disciplinary perspectives. And that would mean working for the human welfare, working for the human well-being. And the human well-being is impacted by large number of faculties, large number of forces. So forget these forces, focus on this yoga and sort of other areas, etc., would be transdisciplinary. After giving you some idea about the concepts that are used in the discussion, I would like to make a comment on the observation that many of us believe that this liberal arts education came to the world from United States. They mention the names of Harvard and Yale University. They say it has come from USA. But if you look at the history, you find that liberal arts education was there in Europe long time back. Long ago, it was there in Europe. I would say in the beginning of the civilization of education, it became a liberal education in ancient Greece, South and East Asia for nearly hundreds of years. And then something happened in between in Europe. A Prussian king thought that this interdisciplinary education will not help the bureaucrats, the government people, and special education should be given to them. And therefore, in Europe, the train shifted from interdisciplinary to multidisciplinary. Though the train shifted in the Europe, it remained the same in USA without any change. And now this multidisciplinary was tried in Europe for about 700-800 years, and they again shifted to liberal arts education at present, and many European universities also are giving interdisciplinary education. Now, broadly speaking, therefore, there are two branches, multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary. Now, I'm not talking about multidisciplinary universities. Multidisciplinary universities is a different idea. Again, as I explained in the beginning, so many disciplines are not under one roof. That is multidisciplinary university. But I'm now talking about multidisciplinary education and interdisciplinary education, which is liberal arts education. As I said, general education, which is practiced today, is multidisciplinary. Whereas the liberal arts would focus on synthesis, understanding of different disciplines and the link between them. And if the students participate in the process of liberal education, the experts believe that they will be able to develop certain qualities which are required by the workforce, demanded by business industries at the background of Industrial Revolution 4. What are they? The qualities like critical thinking, problem solving, ability to make complex connections, moral character, sense of social responsibility, all such things can be introduced to the students only through interdisciplinary way of teaching. I'm using the word way of teaching, and I shall conclude sometime by saying that interdisciplinary is an approach, is a way of teaching, is a pedagogy. It focuses more on pedagogy. It focuses more on pedagogy than on individual subjects. If this pedagogy of interdisciplinarity is accepted, the students will have to, students will have to be given a new environment for learning. They will have to provide a new and dynamic way of presenting the interconnected subjects to discuss one issue. Interconnected issues while discussing one issue. Because it is the interconnection which will make them understand the broad base, the depth as well as the breadth of the issues which they have to sort out in future, which they have to sort out in tomorrow's world of work. And therefore, every time the liberal arts education uses the words like synthesize and act upon the information obtained from a variety of sources, communicate with many different kinds of personnel and organizations, engage in an interdisciplinary team-based problem solving. These are the words used. But in reality, do we really say that all the universities and all the higher education institutions will totally shift from multidisciplinary education to liberal arts education? I'm addressing this question now. Totally, underline the word totally. Will they totally change the present system of general education? And will they introduce all the courses which are of interdisciplinary nature? My answer is no. My answer is no. The suitable combination will have to be provided to the students. We have to give them some space to specialize in some areas, and the remaining space we have to utilize for introducing to them multidisciplinary courses. It's a combination between skill-based, as the document says, skill-based vocational courses, specialization on the one hand, and at the same time, a part of the curriculum talking about multidisciplinary courses. Through the introduction of the multidisciplinary courses, we train the students to understand the issues. We train the students to understand the interconnections between different issues. We train the students to look beyond one subject, enter the areas of other subject, and find out the implication for solving the current problem. This is, giving lessons in interdisciplinary education is basically giving training in the thinking process, in a thought process. And this thought process could be applied by the students while doing the other part, which I said, multidisciplinary courses. The methodology learned while learning or while completing the multidisciplinary courses could be used depending on the ability of the student and requirement of the issues while studying multidisciplinary vocational specialized courses. That is the model which I visualize. Now, we find that the liberal arts is quite popular in large parts of the country, different countries. In USA, several oldest private liberal arts colleges are there, and they continue to be. There are universities in Asia, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and China, which which impart liberal arts education. But most of them, as I said, combine. Most of them combine the liberal arts approach with the uh, multidisciplinary approach, because exclusively liberal arts is difficult. Even now, the Flame University in Pune claims that it is a liberal arts education. I have visited Flame. I have worked as their advisor. But specialization does exist there. They 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 learn sort of competencies in economics, in journalism, and in many such subjects. But the technique used is that of disciplinary systems. Today, I would like to, in the remaining period, I would like to mention a few practices, liberal arts practices, followed by Williams College, USA, then Yale National University, Singapore, then Amsterdam University College, etc. I mean, the names of the universities actually don't matter. What matters is the courses that they have introduced. So look at the introduction of the courses. For instance, in Williams College, USA, you can note down the names of the colleges so that you can go on the internet, visit the sites of these colleges, and get more information if you want about the glimpses that I'm touching during this discussion. In the Williams College, they have something like concentrations. They call concentrations. The word concentrations is now used by our Mumbai IIT college also, IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, Powai. They have also modified their syllabus online with liberal arts requirements, and they are also using the word concentrations. Concentration means a group of courses around similar topics, and these courses are drawn from different disciplines. These courses are drawn from different disciplines. But there is a thin line of distinction between the nomenclature concentrations and nomenclature groups. Group could be assaulted. But concentrations are deliberately structured. Concentrations, these groups, concentration is a group, no doubt. But these groups are deliberately structured in such a way that along with the main area, say economics or philosophy or sociology or psychology, the other disciplines which are closely connected also are involved. For instance, they have a concentration called cognitive science. They have a paper in concentrations which is described as cognitive science. This paper combines components from psychology, components from computer science, components from philosophy and mathematics. Look at the combination. The title is Cognitive Science, and it draws resources from psychology. Mainly it is a psychology-based paper. It draws resources from psychology, computer science, philosophy, and also math, because math is nothing but logic. Take another case. Take another case. There is a college called Pomona College. Pomona. Pomona College, USA. They have a liberal arts education which has two components. Component one is an optional component. Component one is an optional component. And component two is a common core. In both the components, in the optional component as well as in the common core component, the methodology used is interdisciplinary. From optional component, the students can choose the disciplines of their interest. And common core, they have again two sub-branches. Under one branch, they have 4 courses and 5 clusters. 4 courses and 5 clusters. In the optional component, in the optional component, again, as I mentioned one course, I can mention one more course also. There is a course called, I mean, think of the titles of the course also. They have come out of these titles like physics, chemistry, economics, mathematics, biology, botany. All these titles are not used now. Look at the titles. The title itself reflects the interdisciplinary character of the course. And the focus is on the dynamic nature of the society, dynamic nature of the business, the dynamics identified in human behavior. And in another optional component course, these are just examples. The title of the course is, look at the title, Dynamics of Difference and Power. The title of the optional component is the dynamics of difference and power. I don't think any of our institution has thought of a title like this. Under the dynamics of difference, what do they do? While studying the dynamics of difference, what are the course contents basically, broadly? Under dynamic of difference, they study class structure, ethnicity, gender, race, religion, sexuality as different categories of analysis. And with reference to these categories, the differences are understood. How interesting. The other part of the paper course is dynamics of power. Under dynamics of power, what do they study? The interpersonal power, husband and wife, boss and employees, at the family level, at the organizational level, at the local level, at the national level, and also at the international level. Look at the perspective, huge perspective. One paper, one course, just the dimensions which are unimaginable. This is interdisciplinary aspect of education. It doesn't study only the class conflict. No. It doesn't study the ethnicity issues. It combines all these things together, and then the course gets completed. Coming to the common core, 4 courses and five clusters. I'll mention the 4 courses and 5 clusters to you. Can I use little more time? Because I think I'll need some more time. Oh, all right. But
Please carry on.
Okay,
We need more knowledge, more light on that. Thank you, sir. Please carry on.
Because I wanted to give a message. I wanted to give how the horizon of preparing interdisciplinary courses is unlimited, and how people are working on defining and structuring these courses. In this Pomona case, again, Pomona, Pomona case, please find out visiting their websites and more details and the way they conduct examinations and projects, because this is just a part of the iceberg that I'm placing before you, just to introduce, just to tease you to look for more details. In the common core, they have 4 courses. One is logic and critical thinking. Logic and critical thinking. Second is, look how sort of broad it is, the making of Hong Kong. The making of Hong Kong is the title of the course. Making of Maharashtra state is not a title of any course anywhere in the Maharashtrian universities. The third course is understanding morality, different shades of morality. We have this as one small topic in our add-on course on value education. But they have an independent course understanding morality in different communities, in different countries. If our student, our male student, kisses a girl student on the campus, there will be gajab. It doesn't fit in the moral principles. But if it is done in the United States or Europe, that fits in the principles, in the norms set by the society. So the norms may differ, but at the heart, the well-being of the people, togetherness, brotherhood feelings, working together, these are the important issues which are involved in this. And the 4th paper in the common course is World History and Civilization. World History and Civilizations. I mean, nothing confined to local issues typically. And our national wants us to mention the courses which will guarantee jobs in local area or national area. We have to broaden our perspectives if we really want to introduce the national education policy in the perspective in which it is framed. It's a gigantic task. Let us not get frightened, but let us start doing some work somewhere in pockets at state level, at national level, at university level, and I'm sure we will get expected results. In the clusters, they have 5 clusters. Pomona case again. Look at the paper now. The title of the paper itself is Creativity and Innovation. Creativity and innovation. Which subject does it touch? Does it touch economics, political science, sociology, physics, chemistry, IT? Which subject does it touch? It is an interdisciplinary study. understand. And that is why I said in the beginning that the adjective multidisciplinary is the adjective of the university, and the adjective interdisciplinary is the adjective of the education that we shall be giving to our students. Creativity and innovation is one cluster. Second cluster is humanities and arts. Humanities and arts. There are 64 arts defined by our own ancient educationists. The third is management and society. Look at it. Management and society. So the perspective is as broad as the total society, which doesn't have even national limits. We are the national, global citizens from that angle. The fourth cluster is science, technology, and society. Science, technology, and society. The fifth cluster is values, cultures, and societies. 3 out of 5 courses in the 5 clusters program are connected with the society. And the first, both they are called creativity and innovation, and humanities and arts cannot be studied unless they have the broad context of the social issues, societal problems, and so on and so forth. They have another course, if I can give you 1 or 2 examples more too. There is a paper in, again, look at it. There's a paper in economics of culture and creativity. There is a paper in economics of culture and creativity. There is a paper in food, culture, and identity. Look at the titles. Food, culture, and identity. In the paper Economics of Culture and Creativity, what do? They apply basic economic and financial theories, to discussions regarding arts, culture. Economic theories and financial theories are applied to arts, culture, and venture capital. Look how the disciplinary boundaries are broken. Disciplinary boundaries are broken. Look at what they study in food, culture, and identity. They study various representations of food in relation to various representations of food, various types of foods used across the globe in relation to, quite interesting, Eastern and Western cultural identity. All these papers cross the boundary of basic discipline. Economics is not economics alone. Food is not a part of culinary art college alone. It's a broad. And this particular travel from economics as one course to economics, the course in economics of culture and creativity, one has to travel a lot. One has to think a lot. The people, like-minded people, should be drawn from economics, culture, and creativity. and let them interact. Let them interact with each other, and let them find out the boundaries which they can intercross while defining the courses in between. This is what is actually expected in these areas. The next is 6.5. Okay. I shall say something about mm, uh, Amsterdam University College. It is something special. I will not explain everything that they do there, but certain special things which are found there, can be placed before you. This Amsterdam University College, popularly known as AUC, it is a liberal arts and sciences undergraduate college in Amsterdam, Netherlands. And they have an interdisciplinary approach. While framing their curriculum. They try to combine the breadth of academic knowledge, with the depth of special knowledge. I shall tell you how they define their learning objective. They have defined their learning objective: multidisciplinary breadth of academic knowledge, combined with depth of knowledge, in a chosen concentration area, and ability to approach questions or issues in an interdisciplinary way. Their learning objective at AUC, Amsterdam University College: multidisciplinary breadth of academic knowledge, combined with depth of knowledge in chosen concentration, and ability to approach questions or issues in an interdisciplinary way. They have a course on, I shall make a few observations on one course. They have a course on the Global Identity Experience course. Look at all these titles. These titles do not match anywhere. These titles do not go close to anywhere our titles used by our universities and colleges. The title itself speaks about the breadth as well as depth. The Global Identity Experience course, what does it do? This course will expose students to specific concepts and issues. This course will address specific concepts and issues. What are they? The issues like identity, the issues like race, gender, discrimination, and cross-cultural communications. Dr. Patil, will you not accept if I say that these things become applicable to the socio-political economic milieu of Maharashtra? We have issues today, burning issues. Identity issue is Maratha problem.
Yes.
Identity, OBC problem, identity issue, race, gender. You see, the way the women, youngsters are harassed, gender issue, discrimination issue in villages. In villages, there is a lot of discrimination even now. And the issue of cross-cultural communications. These are also burning issues in a state like Maharashtra. And if we can sort of think of structuring a paper on these issues for our course, I don't know what will be the reaction of our vice chancellors and board of studies members. And this AUC is doing it not not in the context of one country. They are doing it in a globalized society. The dimensions of all these issues expand significantly, unlimitedly, when you take the global platform for your analysis. So this tells us how broad, how in depth they go, how they visualize the interconnections. Writing a curriculum for interdisciplinary course is an exercise in visualizing the interconnections which are very relevant to the real issues pertaining to the national as well as global problems. It all depends on the vision the curriculum designers have about the existing issues in the country and outside. There is one novel experiment is done in this university, AUC, and they call it a theme-based major program. A theme-based. Look at the titles. Groups are there, but they don't call a group. They call concentrations. They call it theme-based programs. Theme-based programs. And these theme-based programs cover the sciences, social sciences, and humanities. In this theme-based program, they have identified 6 themes. They don't call them papers. Understand, the whole approach is totally new right from the base. So whole approach. They don't call them papers. 6 themes. What are these themes? Theme number 1 is energy, climate, and sustainability. Energy, climate, and sustainability. Look at the breadth and look at the depth also simultaneously. The second theme is life, evolution, and universe. I don't know what are the limits to the discussion. And it's all made for students, young students. Life, evolution, and universe. If we start doing this kind of thing in our universities, there will be morchas from students and teachers. But sometimes, somewhere, the beginning will have to be made. Maybe in a small way, but somewhere the journey must begin. The third theme is health and well-being. Health and well-being. This health and well-being is a theme now practiced by Symbiosis International Deemed University. Health and well-being. And they describe themselves as Health and Well-being University. That is a central theme behind running Symbiosis International. I'm very happy to mention that. And they also have a separate liberal arts college functioning in Pune. The fourth theme in AUC's packet is information, communication, and cognition. This is the title of the theme. The fifth is a little common and familiar to us, social systems. And the sixth is cities and cultures. Although the theme social systems looks closer to our course curriculum, the theme covers in AUC three things. One, global culture, global politics, and global economics. Everything is to be understood in the global context. Everything is to be understood in the global context. That is important. AUC has one more sort of group of courses. I'm surprised to hear the names of these courses. They have a course on big data. They call it big questions courses. The group is called 6 big questions courses. What are these 6 big questions? Big data, big books in world literature, big questions in future society, big questions in future society, big questions in science, and big history. There could be some big idea behind introducing these 6 big questions courses. A course on big data, big books, world literature, big questions in future society. This is very relevant everywhere, any country. And big questions in science and big history. History, we learn lessons from history and all that. And through all these courses, they would like to focus on logic, information flow and information augmentation, academic writing skills, advanced research writing, foreign languages, mathematics, and so on and so forth. So let me skip something and go to I'll give you a list of skills which are identified by National University Singapore. Skills, or they call it learning outcomes. And then if you look at these things, it all takes us to the pedagogy only, because these skills are to be given to students through pedagogy. These skills are interdisciplinary skills. Learning skills. Communication skills. Skills required in the engagement at local and global levels. And personal and social responsibility. Looking at the time, I shall come to the end by by referring to one interesting practice in National University Singapore, and that is what is the vision of National University Singapore. It is 5 words. 5 words. The university says our vision is in Asia for the world. In Asia for the world. This is the vision. And mission is a pedagogical experiment beyond disciplinary boundaries. Look how sort of innovative they are. This university, I shall be very brief now. This university has a unique program. They call it Week 7 projects. They call it Week 7 projects. These projects are given to students in the 7th week after they join as freshers. So they attend lectures for 1.5 months, 6 weeks, and a background. And the background is prepared to participate in these projects. And these projects are entirely interdisciplinary. And these projects encourage interdisciplinary give and take amongst students, monitored by teachers, and monitored by those teachers who don't teach these students also. It involves a lot of journey. It involves a lot of collection of data. I show you examples of Week 7 projects. They conducted a project called History, Agriculture, and the Future of China's Villages. Look at the Week 7 project title. History, Agriculture, and the Future of China's Villages. This is a Singapore-based university taking students to China. The project was conducted in an underdeveloped rural region in China. And then the students studied local institutions like family, community, market, and tried to link these ideas back to the common curriculum course, comparative social inquiry. And the work was done by the students. They stayed together for 7 days in a Chinese village. And after coming back, the students exchanged their views, made presentations, and teacher was there to monitor presentations. Another example is another example of Week 7 project in Singapore-based university. Cultural capitals, museums, identity, narratives, and expertise. Week 7 project. The title is Cultural Capitals, Museums, Identity, Narratives, and Experience. The students looked at Singapore's vibrant museums and the country's attempt to position itself as a leading cultural hub of Asia. This was very relevant. To the upbringing of the students. My dear friends, I think it's time to close. After sharing all these things with you, what do I expect from you? This should not go futile. केवळ श्रवण भक्ती नको असं मला मनापासून वाटतं, कारण मी ह्या व्याख्यानावर खूप काम केलं, खूप तास काम केलं. मलाही इंटरेस्ट होता म्हणून. तेव्हा हे फुकट जावं किंवा ऐकून आज सोडून द्यावं असं मला वाटत नाही. आज माझ्यासमोर 70-80 लोक बसलेले आहेत. त्यांच्यामध्ये ग्रुप्स तरी फॉर्म व्हावेत.
So please be in English. People from south and north are also there.
About 80-85 participants are there. I think they should take this theme to their hearts. It's not required immediately next academic year. But if all of us think that the national education policy is the very, very relevant and much wanted document, it's our responsibility to make it a successful experiment. Let us not wait for orders to reach the institutions. Let us start something on our own, form the groups, and start thinking of interdisciplinary courses. First of all, you have to decide the new structure of the interdisciplinary education, interdisciplinary courses to be run by your university or your autonomous college. In the structure I suggested, all the courses, all the papers, all the themes should not be interdisciplinary, because it is not possible for you to manage that at one go. Perhaps that will be the dream which you can realize after 10 years. But to begin with, I'll be happy, personally, it's my personal opinion, if 20% of the curriculum becomes interdisciplinary and the remaining 80% with some interdisciplinary flavor to it, that perhaps will be a great beginning. And for that, lot of interaction, lot of workshops, lot of discussions will be required. Nothing can happen in a haste. We have to do this, we have to complete this today. No. Regular workshops and interactions should go as a regular. I mean, you can think of fortnightly meetings, monthly meetings, and then this can continue to grow, continue to develop, continue to evolve. And then along with that, you have to evolve the pedagogic styles. Then you have to create simultaneously a research team to study the interdisciplinary courses, which I gave you some examples, how they work. If possible, make arrangements to visit these universities, some of you. I mean, I think fund should not be a problem. If your cause is genuine, if your purpose is to support the system at the national level, the industrialists will finance your journeys abroad, the universities will finance, MHRD will finance, because actual exposure is much more important. Visit these institutions. When Symbiosis started its liberal arts college in Pune, the present director, Patankar, stayed in American University for 6 months and studied the whole thing. In my college, Chowgule College principal had spent 6 months in Sussex to study management, financed all these things. Now, management also should be willing to send teachers to give them exposure. Exposure is very, very important. If not sort of Singapore, visit at least Symbiosis Liberal Arts Education, visit at least Flame University, find out what this IIT Powai is doing, because they have an interdisciplinary sciences and arts and engineering course. Let us leave our headquarters. Let us broaden our vision to participate in this total process to overhaul the educational situation in the country. This is very important. And I shall end by sharing a personal story at the end and relate that to what I have been thinking. I perform puja every day. And at times, my 6-7 years old daughter sits along with me. So after puja, we have a good garden in our bungalow. We get beautiful flowers, and I am tempted to use good flowers, colorful flowers while preparing this puja. And on one day, after performing this puja, after mantra pushpanjali, we put flowers on the gods, kept there on the platform. When I started doing this 6-year-old girl says, what are you doing this? I said, what happened? It looks so beautiful, but I can't see the heads of gods. Should I worship the flowers or should I worship the God? I must see the God. You have covered all the gods with flowers. It looks beautiful, but I don't see the gods. I want to pray. I want to see how Ganesha looks, how Maruti looks, and so on and so forth. This takes me to while framing curricula, while changing the structure, while framing the policy, let us not forget the face of our God, which is a student. A student is the face of God for us. Whatever we do in the interest of our students, because our students will give us a better retired life. Our students is our future. In our family, it's true for family also. If we are successful in giving relevant education to our student, our children will not show us the road of old age homes. So it will help homes, it will help the society, the country, and all that. So it is that important, and for that matter, every one of us is required to walk a mile more every day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You focused on two-dimensional nomenclatures in study group, that is concentration category and group category. You also explained briefly the scope of concentration category, that is in structured form. You gave a new dimension to know about 4 types of comprehensive courses, which are very multidimensional to cater the need of students as per their area of interest, thereby breaking the disciplinary boundaries in study culture. You also opened up a new avenues for higher education students to opt their career in interdisciplinary subjects. You came up with brimful courses and projects which are indeed very genuine from the perspective of students' progress in their careers. Indeed, it is a new way of transforming the traditional education into an interdisciplinary education, which is really a need of the hour. Thank you, sir. Your intellectual academic discourse today on the topic liberal education endorses the thought that quality is never an accident. It is always a result of intelligent effort. We rarely get this kind of opportunity to listen to the words of great knowledgeable academicians, sir. Thank you once again, sir, for your insightful discourse. We are really fortunate enough that to provide the question and answer forum to discuss and clarify the queries of our esteemed participants straight through the horse's mouth. The session is now open for sharing questions. May I request Mr. Abdul Shamim sir and Mr. M.B. Shamkule sir to coordinate the panel of question and answers. Over to Shamim sir.
Yeah.
You, madam.
Good evening, everybody.
After deconstructing the various terms like multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary by the eminent scholar Dr. Vinayak Shirgurkar sir, we will move towards the interactive session through question and answer. Now, the first question has been posed by Dr. Deshmukh. The NEP is a march to dismantle the hierarchy of courses. The first question
I couldn't get the
has been
question.
posed by Dr. Deshmukh.
Yeah.
The NEP, National Education Policy, the National Education Policy is a march to dismantle the hierarchy of courses.
Still, somehow I'm not in a position to hear you properly. The question, hierarchy, is it a question on hierarchy or what?
Yes,
Sir?
multidisciplinary education
Yes.
will deconstruct the hierarchical this present education system.
Well, the hierarchy, the national education policy talks about universities. It talks about autonomous colleges. It talks about the clusters. It talks about MHRD at the apex. It talks about national assessment and accreditation. So, what kind of hierarchy are you visualizing in this context? I mean, hierarchy in education is what? Multidisciplinary university, for instance, Savitribai Phule Pune University has now 50 departments. Instead of 50 departments, the university will add another 50 in the beginning so that the university will be able to give more options to the students. Another dimension of the national education policy is there is a choice given to the students. The selection is not restricted. A student can study any subject he or she wants. And there is also a choice that certain courses can be done online, but if the majority of the courses are done through one university, the student will get degree from that university. Any university course can be done by any student online. I don't know whether I am able to answer your question. Somebody from the audience also can answer. Jyoti Patil also can answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Surely. That will be something which is actually not drastically done. It will take time. It will be done in a phase manner, and hierarchical system cannot be cannot be taken into consideration. It is something what is to be taught. And you have already said the God before us is actually the students. So we have to focus on the students, what students' requirements are, and then we can form our this thing, considering local and global requirements. Yeah, there are some questions, sir, in the chat box. Shamim, your voice is not audible actually. So should I read the question?
Yeah, I can.
Sumant Soni,
There is a
unmute and
there is
ask
a question.
Yeah,
There
please,
is a question from Dr. Sumant
please.
that is India really ready to accept the concept of liberal education when even the educated class is also very touchy on many issues and not free from personal opinions? Will it not too early to think on such courses now? So this is the question from Dr. Suman.
Repeat your question.
My dear friend,
Is
my dear friend, what can I say on this question? Change is resisted. Any change. We are happy with what we have been doing in the past. But if we continue to do what we have been doing in the past, we shall continue to get what we have been getting in the past, results. And therefore, in the interest of the society, in the interest of the nation, in the interest of the students themselves, unless this multidisciplinary approach is introduced, the problem of employment of this country will not be sorted out. Today, today, thousands and lakhs and crores of people are unemployed. They are unemployed not because they are uneducated. They have some degree, but what is the level of the degree? How many first class and distinction holders are unemployed? Very few. The level of understanding, the capacity of those who are not getting jobs is not up to the mark from the point of view of Industry 4.0. The World Economic Report has very clearly said that millions of jobs will be obsolete. They will not be required. And at the moment, we are teaching those subjects which will not bring jobs to our students after 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. While defining the curricula, while structuring the curricula, we have to be futuristic. We need not look at what is required today. We should imagine what will be required by Industry 4 after 4 years. And we should be ahead of the industry. We should ahead of the technology. For that, a lot of research is required. Students will not take it easily, I know. Any change, even if you change the pattern of question papers, there is resistance for teachers as well as students. Let us introspect and find out. All of you must have worked as paper setters sometime or the other. You must have set one paper or at least 2-3 papers. Can you say that the papers you set did not contain any question which were asked by the university in the last 10 years? Was it totally a new question paper? A new question paper on the same syllabus can be set. But unfortunately, I'm not pessimistic actually, but these are the real facts. And let us come out of these facts. Let us come out of this inaction. Let us come out of this pessimism. Let us come out of the thinking that nothing will happen. On the contrary, let us say, we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
At least one course, interdisciplinary course, at least one interdisciplinary project in this year, and then evaluate that project. Take your students along with you. Don't impose anything on you. And in the new process, teachers will have to do a lot of work prior to going to the class. In the classroom, their workload is actually 0. They don't have to teach actually. Students learn through, the term flipped classroom. The week 7 project is similar. So it is important. That somewhere we come out of our shells. Somehow we have to devote a little more. And as I said, walk a mile extra every day towards the cause, and results will give. Mr. Sumant, I wish you all the best. Your college is doing very good work, I know, and you are a party to it. You are very much with your principal, and you are the coordinator of IQAC. I have heard your presentations and seen your presentations, and you are bubbling with new ideas. I think you have already introduced a couple of interdisciplinary courses already. So you have a lot of experience. You can conduct workshops for others.
I request Suman to unmute, and if he is visible, that will be good for us.
Which one?
Suman sir, if you can unmute and yes, give your input to sir's response, and you can even be visible, sir. Suman sir, if you are there.
Sumant is working in Lily Bhushan's college.
Yeah.
You must be having her number. You can talk to her. She has transformed the college in the last 10 years. Total transformation.
He is unable to unmute. I request the admin technical people to unmute him.
The next question is
Just a minute.
there any
Just a
provision?
minute, sir. Just a minute, sir. Let him unmute. Suman, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are there.
Yeah.
I
was
gave
unable
you
to unmute
compliment, Dr.
myself.
Suman.
No, I was unable to unmute myself. Actually, my question was slightly in depth, so just I have put the question in very small little words. My question was something different.
What is it?
We are talking about the universities from foreign countries like Europe and America who are standing for hundreds plus and 200 plus years. The democracies there is certainly much more mature than I dare to say in compared to India. Of course, we are two young democracies. And my question was actually that when we are so touchy, even the educated class is also so touchy about certain issues and having very opinions, very construed opinions, and we are unable to overcome those opinions, even though we are educated. Is it not too early for us to think about the liberal courses? That was my actual, of course, I am not against the liberal courses and liberal arts courses and combination of courses, but will it not be, or are we really going little fast forward in that particular case? That was my actual question.
It is like taking a decision to take exercises every day to remain fit. What is the ideal age for starting exercises for remaining fit in one's life? It is something like that. And Dr. Suman, there is one very encouraging point is you must also have observed when your students go abroad and when they do their graduation and post-graduation, many of them excel better than the indigenous students. That means our students have capacities. Our students have capacities. And let us not undermine the capacity of our students. They are creative. But what is required is we should give an opportunity, create spaces for them, create places for them, create opportunities for them to show their creativity. I'm sure, Dr. Suman, if you organize a students' workshop, a senior students' workshop, third year students' workshop, and give them, suggest courses which will be interdisciplinary. At least in one day workshop, they should come out with 3 courses. Give them some preliminary ideas and tell them or break them in groups, let them discuss, monitor that, and I'm sure they will come out with 3 interdisciplinary courses in your college itself. Nothing is too early.
Yes.
And where is the time to wait till the grass grows under our feet? There is no time.
Yes.
Why waste the whole generation? We have spent 20, 75 years. Our tradition was liberal education only. Nalanda, Takshashila, liberal education only. We imitated the British model because in those times the Britishers followed this special education, multidisciplinary, and they changed it. But we are still sticking to it. And now our present government, our Prime Minister has taken a lead in sort of giving you all infrastructural support. So the knowledge support, all that will have to come from us only. Let us explore the possibility
Yes,
and
sure,
share
sir.
our experiences again in a similar workshop.
Yes, sure, sir. Sure. Yeah. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
Any
you,
other?
sir. Thank you. Yeah.
There is another question from Dr. Abhita. Is there any provision in the NEP to train the teachers to adopt interdisciplinary pedagogy?
They have mentioned, at least at some places, the kind of teaching that can take place. For instance, this is an example from NEP. They have mentioned environment education And they say environment education will include areas such as climate change, pollution, waste management, sanitation, conservation of biological diversity, management of biological resources and biodiversity, forest and wildlife, conservation and sustainable development and living. It is there in the new education policy itself. Some examples. So they have given the example of a course on environment education. While talking about value-based education, the value-based education will include development of humanistic, ethical, constitutional, and universal human values of truth, satya, dharma, righteous conduct, shanti, peace, prem, love, non-violence, ahimsa, scientific temper that comes in value education, citizenship values, and also life skills, lessons in seva service, and participation in community service programs will be considered an integral part of holistic education. The phrases we could remember these phrases like critical thinking, ability to make complex connections, creativity in problem solving, independence of mind, character. All these phrases become important while sort of writing these interdisciplinary courses. Knowledge, academic skills, interdisciplinary skills, learning skills, communication skills, all these things could be kept in mind while I think let us make an honest effort somewhere. These 5 colleges, I will request Dr. Yogi Patil to take lead. These 5 colleges should form 5 groups. Let us see, and Sumant will form another group in his college. Maybe a group could be of 10 persons, 10 interested faculty members. The principal should not nominate members. The principal should say, this is the project, national project. So those who are interested should give names. The membership is restricted. First come, first served basis will be allowed. And this 5 multiplied by 5, it will be a group of about 25 faculty members. At first, in 25 faculty members, you can address them on sort of your understanding of interdisciplinary courses. If I am available, I shall all be available on online also. And then let us give them a task. Each group should frame one interdisciplinary course in the next 1 month. Let there be discussions. This is stage 1. Once it is done, then form groups of students, 5 colleges. Plus, you take our Sumant also in your group, 6th. In 6 groups of students, maybe 10 students each. Let these 25 leaders of this 25 faculty group talk to the students because they have gained some experience. And then let this group suggest the students' groups to identify some 5 interdisciplinary courses. Let us see what happens. Let us see what, I'm sure good results will come out of it because it is in the interest of students. Faculty will have to work little more. Little more means 8 hours a day, full. If they work for 8 hours a day full, that is enough. 16 hours, they are at home. 8 hours is enough. Let us come out of this work concept of 20 hours and 22 hours. Workload, that itself is not a joy. It's a load, considered as a load in thematically. So let us contribute, let us do something. And then maybe this will be a pilot project. You can submit a report to Prime Minister Modi. He will be very happy. A small beginning will become a big project in course of time. My best wishes to you. Whenever you need some help online, I'm available. I'm not traveling these days, Sumant. I won't be able to attend your meeting. But online, I'm definitely available. Whatever resources, more resources, some more universities, I shall do some homework and send you notes. That is also possible. Because let me also, you see, at the age of 80, why am I talking to you for 2 hours? Because it's my passion. I feel that out of 100, if 5 people are motivated, like Jyoti and Sumant, my job is over. That is my earning today. Okay.
Yes, will
Yes,
do, sir. We will
yes.
definitely do this. And whatever you have this wish to carry forward these things, definitely we'll try to do that. We have
My
young, promising, energetic staff members. I hope they'll come forward and they will break this jinx of working only for 5 hours. It's
yes,
a
my principal
24
will
hours
also
duty.
definitely support. Will definitely support. She is also
Yeah,
listening this,
yeah,
so
yeah.
she will definitely support this.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, definitely.
Okay, all
Sir,
the
there
best.
is one more question from Dr. Yes Kalpata.
Okay.
Kalpalata. Huh.
Is there any provision for training the current teachers in this regard?
I
Unmute her and let her interact also. Huh.
I think training schemes are being prepared by the central government, and in Pune, one such institution is coming up for training the faculty members. The UGC has converted the academic staff colleges, and they have been assigned this job also. They don't call orientation courses and refresher courses. Uh, the nomenclature also has been changed, and many universities, I think, will be starting training courses for faculty members from this angle.
Thank you very much, sir. Uh, Actually, I would like to tell you about our refresher courses, which are not very useful right now.
No. Now they will not be described as refresher courses. They will be.
Refreshment.
They have given a certain name. I know what happened to refresher courses and orientation courses. I know. All right. Let me not go into those details. But teachers also responsible for that, I would say. And if you are willing to learn, opportunities will come to you. Come to you to go ahead in this particular field. You will start enjoying your work. That is more important. Start enjoying your work. Work for your. I to share you with a secret. I have been working even now for 60 years in this field, but I don't feel that I have spent any time working. In the college also I worked, but I didn't feel that I was working. It was like breathing. You breathe, but do you remember that how many times did you breathe every day? Like doing my job in the college was like breathing in, breathing out. It's part of my life. So that should be, and that happens if you get involved in this. And God helps them who sort of would like to do something for the society at large. Society at large. That is my personal experience. If you have a session on my personal experience, you will be surprised to listen to many of them. Many of them.
Yes.
I think, thank you.
Uh,
Thank you. I'm waiting for that.
And there is
Bharat
the
sir, there's
last
some
question.
question?
No.
Last question. How the aptitude
Everything
of the
everything is
student be
clear,
evaluated?
crystal clear. So there is no question at all.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
How would the aptitude of the students be evaluated to come to the conclusion that these subjects are the cup of tea for the students? Inquired by Dr. Khan.
Is it a question something?
Yes, sir. Your comment, sir. How
Repeat
would
your
the
question.
aptitude of the student be evaluated to come to the conclusion that these subjects are the cup of tea for the students?
It's an observation. It's okay.
So he wants your comments.
I didn't hear you, if you are expecting an answer from me, I didn't get the question observation.
Sir, there are so many subjects which are available for the students to choose. So how we are going to conduct the aptitude of the
Somebody should repeat
students
that for me.
in order to come to the conclusion to decide that these subjects should be chosen by the students? Is there any provision for aptitude test for the students?
My dear friend, aptitude tests are available in every city. Even I have given aptitude test to my son at the age of 16. Now he is 45. So these things are available. My daughter-in-law is giving online tests even today. My daughter-in-law, Manasi Shirgurkar, she runs something called Japanese Hub. That is her company. And she administers online aptitude tests for students. I mean, I'm not sort of propagating her activity, but if you are interested, you just search in Japanese Hub website. And there could be many in Nagpur, many in Mumbai, many in Pune.
Yes, sir.
Aptitude tests, and even your psychology department can sort of administer aptitude tests. And counseling is a part of the job done by the teachers. The clinical counseling is done by the experts, but career counseling, we are mostly concerned with career counseling because selection of subjects is required from the point of view of the career choice of career. If there are psychological problems, consult the clinical psychologist. Yeah.
The question arises.
No question.
The question arises when everything is to be kept in 5 hours.
5 hours.
That's the main question.
If you talk about 5 years, nothing will happen in this country.
That's the big question, sir.
Just somehow, somewhere, everybody will have to make an effort.
Right.
All these private universities, faculty works for 8 hours. Symbiosis.
More than 8 hours, sir.
And there is one Balaji University. The students are kept engaged from 8:30 to 6:30. All the teachers work from 8:30 to 6:30. If you want to bring up your country, if you want to do something for the cause of education, you have to work for, I said 8 hours, but I would say full time 24 hours. 24 hours. That
Yes, sir.
devotion,
We need to consider ourselves as 24 hours we are available for students, but not.
That we have to come out of that mindset.
Right, sir.
The early that mindset will make our progress. And I'm
the,
sure
the whole endeavor of this quality improvement program is this only, sir, that we have to break these shackles and we have to devote ourselves wholeheartedly.
Right,
so
right.
one of the objectives of this QIP is that we should understand our responsibility. We should not take it, as you have said, as workload. Yeah.
Right, right.
And we have to do it for our own children. That is
yes.
correct. If you don't do it, you will lose control over your children.
Sir.
You know, the stability of the society also depends on the strength of the education.
Right, sir.
If the education fails to give your children a strong society to live in, how will they live here? Pollution, traffic jam, political and social unrest. Is it possible for you to remain safe in this situation? And that will come only through education.
Right.
And that will come only through faculty.
Right, sir.
Every teacher has to do for the society and for his own children. Yes, let us conclude.
Yes, sir. Chindraj sir is with us. He has some input to give, sir. Chindraj sir?
I think he has left.
He has left. Okay.
Now there is no question in the chat box. of Zoom as well as on the YouTube. So over to you, Meenakshi ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Shamim sir. Thank you all the distinguished participants for your scholarly questions in the interactive discussions. William Faulkner quotes, "Gratitude is heart's memory," unquote. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. To the grateful man, give more than he asks, truly applies to our eminent speaker, Honorable Dr. Vinayak Shirgurkar, sir. I take this prestigious opportunity to express my deep sense of gratitude to the very resourceful personality, Honorable Dr. Vinayak Shirgurkar, sir, who, despite his busy schedule, has found time to grace this occasion, and also for wonderfully stimulating the concept of New Education Policy 2020, which opened up new annals to redefine the quality education in true sense. I extend my heartfelt thanks to my guide and mentor, respected Raj Shetty sir, for gracing this occasion and delivering the phenomenal introductory remark for today's plenary session. A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It sweat, determination, and hard work. Yes, it's a belief endorsed by the convener of the Cluster College and the magnanimous personalities, Dr. Jyoti Patil Madam, the brainchild of this event, Dr. Usha Sakure Madam, Dr. Dhanraj Shetty Sir, Dr. Shraddha Anil Kumar Madam, and Dr. Narendra Dikshit Sir. I extend my thanks to the conveners of the program for their stewardship and unstinted support to make this program splendid and successful. My special thanks to our organizing secretary of this program, Dr. Ramnaik Lengure sir, for his constant support and motivation. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the IQAC coordinator, Mr. Abdul Shamim sir and Mr. MB Shamkule sir, for coordinating the interactive session lively, which created a catchy and engaging environment. Also, special thanks to our IQAC coordinators, Dr. Sujata Chakravarti Madam and Dr. K. Meshram Sir, for their splendid special task force to handle the program in a very diligent manner. I owe my special gratitude to our technician supporters, Dr. Rakesh Sarade Sir and Dr. Anil Dorewar Sir, to enable the smooth and flawless functioning of this program without any technical glitches. My special thanks to Dr. Shiri Chindare Sir and Gurunath Fagare Sir for being so active in this program and for their gracious presence in this occasion. Without a disciplined and extremely engaged audience, this session cannot be successful. My special thanks to such a diverse and dynamic participants for their active presentation in large numbers. Every next level of your life will demand a different version of you. So, bringing up with new version within the agenda of National Education Policy 2020 tomorrow with an eminent speaker, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General AIU Delhi, who would deliver her scholarly discourse on the topic ABC, Giving Wings to the Students, for the fifth exceptional plenary session tomorrow at 5 p.m. Great is the art of beginning, but greater is the art of ending. Looking forward to our next plenary session with a fresh insight and innovative ideas. With the consent of the chair and organizing secretary, I hereby declare the end of this program. Over to Jyoti Patil, madam, if she has to say something. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. The session ends here, but I'd like to again extend my heartfelt thanks. And sir, we will try that whatever your